Hello everyone! You may notice I'm in a new location. I just wanted to record a little vlog because I just did some recording for my very first Let's Play. So I guess to start with, uh, apologize if it's a little rough. As I said, it is my first, so we'll see where it goes from here. Um, but just a little history I wanted to cover with why I chose the game that I did, because it actually does have some meaning for me, and there's a reason why I chose it. I've been wanting to do a Let's Play for a long time. Uh, I always thought it would be a great thing for the channel, and I really enjoy watching people like the Game Grumps and Markiplier. So I always thought that sounded like fun. But I had a real hard time choosing what game to play, um, given the theme of my channel. Um, so far my current show, it's about game mastering and tabletop gaming, but by no means is my channel locked into just tabletop gaming. Like I've always intended to like branch out a little bit into video gaming as well. Um, I mean, show wise. So I was really unsure what to play first, um, just because I'm not sure what would go well with like in tandem to my show. But I thought about it, and somebody suggested that I play my favorite game, and yeah, that's a good suggestion. It at least got me thinking. But my favorite game is really freaking long. um, like my favorite video game is Xenogears from at the time Squaresoft. Um, Fantastic game, but its story spans like 10,000 years of history, and uh, really, it's a game that does not feel rushed to get into its story. So I don't think that would work out terribly well for a Let's Play. Plus, it's very heavy and philosophical and and does not lend a lot to say any comedy. But it did get me thinking about RPGs, and I'm not sure if maybe I'm going to play just RPGs from now on, but it got me thinking about like Final Fantasy and Star Ocean and the other JRPGs that I enjoy. And Final Fantasy for me actually I have quite a bit of history with it, in that I've been playing it since I was a kid. And I know a lot of you out there are like, oh yeah, well, my favorite franchise I've been playing as a kid. Well, uh, for me, Final Fantasy is a little bit has a little bit more sentimental value to it because when I was a kid, I wasn't the one playing it. Actually, my dad was the one playing it. You see, when I was a kid, like we the entire family would come to the living room and we'd play Final Fantasy together. My dad would actually play, and my mom would read all the dialogue. And as we got older, my brother and I ended up taking over the responsibility. First, my brother, around the time of like Final Fantasy IV. Well, okay, I think my brother took over for Final Fantasy uh, uh, 2 at the time. It's Final Fantasy 4, and then 3 with 6. Um, and I realized my phone just went off, but don't worry about that. But anyway, and I have some sentimental value to it. But on top of that, the original Final Fantasy tends to get overlooked a lot, I think, by modern JRPG players. They typically the comments I hear about it is that it's really hard. Um, and that's true. It's difficult, but the reason why it's difficult is well, because of a lot of the reasons you'll find. Oh, hi, Dippy. Hello. Uh, my cat Dippy. You may remember her from one of my videos. Anyway, the reason why it's hard, I try to discuss in the video. It's because of its similarities to Dungeons and Dragons, because that's where the inspiration came from, and well, I just had a lot to say about it. And on top of that, I had some sentimental value, and a lot of people overlook it. So, it just clicked that that was the perfect game to start with. Um, but by no means do I intend to stop there. I'd like to do some Let's Plays for some other games. I don't really have a theme for games yet. Maybe I could play RPGs, though I think that might end up being boring for you guys because RPGs take a long time. But I could always play like I don't really have a theme. I could play horror games or like just messed up games if that's what you guys want. So if you enjoyed the Let's Play, by all means, recommend games for me to play. I could play more retro games or more modern games. This is all new, and I'm willing to take a crack at anything. But hey, who knows? Maybe I'll play Amnesia. Whatever. I don't know. But definitely, if you have a recommendation, shoot me one. And I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed my first Let's Play. And should be more to come. So, oh, and I believe this will be airing after my Halloween episode, or after my follow-up Halloween episode after episode 17. Uh, so I hope you didn't follow my advice. If you did follow my advice, you're welcome. No, seriously, like, like while I was working on that, I showed the one part to my wife, and and uh, and she's like, "I'm sleeping against the wall tonight. You're gonna be on the outside of the bed." But I had a lot of fun making the Halloween episodes. I liked playing around with the music and having creepy stuff, and I mean, like I said in the one video, I like doing I like creepy stuff. Like I realize I just said like 20 times, and like there's another one. God, man, I haven't done that since I was a kid. Anyway, okay. To the point. Yeah, I enjoy creepy stuff. Uh, and just to clarify something I said in there, like I don't really like horror movies. I find most of them very stupid. Because I really like plot, and I like theming. And though a lot of them, they can get their theming down, most of the plots in horror movies are pretty dumb and just boils down to ghost is angry or vampires getting revenge, and that's really it. There's no real plot to it. Um, when it comes to horror movies, they're far and in between that I actually enjoy. Um, but when I do enjoy them, I enjoy them a lot. Like for example, one of my favorite movies, like in the top three of all time, is John Carpenter's The Thing. That's a fantastic movie. It's a masterpiece of paranoia, and it's just enjoyable. I know a lot of people out there might say, "Oh, that's not a horror movie. That's a monster movie." That's a horror movie. When it's about paranoia and fear, that's a horror movie. That's what a horror movie is supposed to be. Um, if you want a more traditional horror movie I enjoyed, I was like the many people in this past year or past summer that really enjoyed The Conjuring. Actually, I'll go as far as to say The Conjuring is probably the greatest, or it is probably the best and the scariest traditional horror movie I have ever seen. It actually scared me in the theater, and that's really hard to do because typically when I'm watching a movie, I'm sitting there, I'm kind of like, I'm enjoying it, but I'm also at the same time like kind of like analyzing the story and whatnot, looking and like trying to guess what's going to happen next. Um, and that's one movie. It really just it took me out of that mode and immersed me and successfully scared me in the theater to the point where like at the one point me and my wife were both like, oh god, get it away. Like, yeah, it like great horror movie. There's not many others. I typically like I enjoy the first Paranormal Activity and the fourth kind, um, because they're a type of horror that essentially just reminds you of your own vulnerabilities, and I like that. It successfully got me creeped out after the movie, like that night. I had a hard time sleeping, just because it reminded me of certain vulnerabilities that we have, particularly, how vulnerable you are when you are asleep, and that just touched on like those movies just touched on primal fear because their whole theme of this really happened, um, just kind of reinforces, yeah, you can be murdered in your sleep. Or you're just completely powerless in your sleep. Um, so yeah, I for a while there, I thought those were the only horror movies I would enjoy, ones that, reminded me of my own vulnerabilities. But, The Thing, it, well, I've liked that for a long time, but The Thing is like by far like my favorite horror movie, and The Conjuring is now up there. It's like second favorite horror movie now, and jeez, I have to list that as one of I ha I wouldn't list it as one of my favorite movies, but all right, I've gotten off topic. I'm sorry. Um, all right, the point is like I don't really like horror movies because a lot of them are really dumb. Um, like just really stupid storylines. But I do like horror stuff. I mean, like Call of Cthulhu and Lovecraft. I love H.P. Lovecraft. I have his collected works on my Kindle. I've read both of his novels, and oh, that actually gives me an idea for an episode. Anyway, point is, I like horror. It's really cool, and I had fun making those horror videos. Uh, I look forward to next Halloween, and I'll try and top what I did this Halloween. I hope I successfully, at least creeped one or two of you guys out. I know I successfully creeped out my wife with the rake. So, uh, yeah, all right. But I had fun. I look forward to next Halloween making more creepy videos. Hopefully you do too. I also look forward to doing more Let's Plays. Let me know your suggestions on what games you think I should play. Um, and yeah, thanks for watching. And I will see you in the next vlog. Bye!